The Tsitsikamma Mountains in the background. This is Kurland Estate. It's the start point for the 2024 M&G PE PLETT. Day one, 75 Ks to Tsitsikamma Forest, and it is going to be a spectacular day's riding, a stacked field of pros and hundreds of really keen amateurs. The riding is going to be brilliant.
The beautiful Kurland Estate lies just 10 minutes north of Plettenberg Bay and made for a fitting start point for the 12th edition of the race that would end near Humansdorp 4 days later. A string of polo ponies from the Plett Polo Club based at Kurland led the 200 riders away from the start. This year the event was a little different from the previous 11, with 2 nights being spent at the Tsitsikamma Forest Lodge. The racing element was strong. Mark Britson and Tristan Norkier from Team Honeycomb were there, as was the returning Matthijs Bierkes alongside Rousseau Becker in the Valley Electrical Titan Racing Team, and Herman Verrie of Insect Science had teamed up with young Kai van During of Trek. The new Stincoat section of trail had them hammering along at high speed. The drop down to Nature's Valley was super fast on the Grootefree Pass. The lead bunch of racers was strong with 4 teams together. The climb away from Nature's was almost as fast. Jordan Harpainter and Matt Lapan had joined the mix at the front. Once the road flattened out, Mark Britson and Tristan Norkier opened the taps and the gap to their closest rivals. The crossing of the Blokrands Bridge was truly spectacular. No bungee jumpers here. Into the forest they powered towards Storms River Village. Verrie and Van During looking strong, while Bierkes and Becker were going well. But no one could match the pace of the Honeycomb pair. Britson and Norkier took the win at Tsitsikamma Lodge in 2 hours and 22 minutes.
That was a good day. It was a fast day. The first climb, the guys, other teams, they really put the pace on there, and I think they put themselves under pressure a little bit. So we capitalized on that, and then from there on out, we just kept a steady pace right to the end. We worked well together, so yeah, I'm happy.
The women's race saw a dominant ride by Mandy Augustine and Juanita McKenzie of Team Elements. This stunning trail through the indigenous forest was a first for the event and a real highlight of day one. The field included 5 riders from Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean, as well as riders from Germany and the United States and Canada. The weather played a big part in making day one so enjoyable for all, as did the spectacular scenery, indigenous and man-made forests, mountains and sea views, human engineering at its best, beautiful farmlands. It was a veritable feast for weary city eyes.
This is the second morning of the M&G Investments PE PLETT at out and back loop. First time ever in the M&G Investments PE PLETT that they come back to the same race village. It's 59 Ks, 800 meters of climbing, glorious day, cool and a little bit damp. They couldn't ask for better.
The category leaders in the orange jerseys, Team Honeycomb, Britson and Norkier. In the green solo men's jersey, Rogan Smart. In the women, Marnie Sumbol from South Carolina. And leading the women's race in the blue, Mandy Augustine and Juanita McKenzie. In the orange mixed leaders jerseys, Ulrika Harms and Pretorius and Alexander Lawrence. With dry, cool conditions and 800 meters of climbing, it was a super fast stage. Plett local Rogan Smart was doing all he could to stay with the leading teams. But it's not easy when you're effectively 1 against 6. Britson and Norkier were holding nothing back as they led the charge through the forests. Good to see Matthijs Bierkes out of retirement and in the thick of racing action again. It was mighty close with 3 teams together until the very last climb, a mere 2 Ks from the finish, where Honeycomb surged ahead and took a second stage win in 1 hour and 55 minutes. Van During and Verrie were second, Bierkes and Becker third, all in under 2 hours. The women's leaders were enjoying another strong day. Mackenzie and Augustine are from the Eastern Cape and were preparing for the Absa Cape Epic in a few weeks' time. Like many, they'd been racing as much as possible recently to hone their skills, improve their strength and stamina, and smooth out their teamwork. On this evidence, they were in top condition. Juanita, all smiles. Mandy feeding and then smiling as they cruised to another stage win. Mixed leaders Lawrence and Harmsen Pretorius had their closest rivals, Kelsey van Schoor and Sydney Stradum, for company for most of the stage. For the rest, it was another sublime day's riding in a beautiful part of the world, which is why Dakar finisher Ronald Venter and his brother Paul come back every year.
I love it. We come back every year. We'll come back next year. We've been coming for the last couple of years. Like I said, we've done it on normal bikes, we're doing it on e-bikes now, and we'll just come back every year.
Stage 3. They said goodbye to the Titsikama Lodge for the final time after 2 wonderful nights. This was the Queen stage. Short in distance it was at 57 kilometres, but it more than made up for that in climbing and technical challenges as they left the coastal plains and forests and headed over the mountain into the Langkloof. With the category leaders defending solid advantages, the next best could only hope to snatch a stage win perhaps. It didn't take long for the top teams to split from the rest of the field. Forest plantations and dairy farms gave way to millies as the leading 7 cruised along. The first half of the stage hugged the forest roads that traced the edge of the cliffs along the Indian Ocean. It was full gas all the way. Open gravel roads or recently burned forest trails, the descent to the top of the mountain was thrilling. Matthew Lepan and Jordan Harpainter were pushing hard for a place on the podium, but it suffered a severe mechanical with multiple punctures. Big trouble also for the mixed leaders. E-Ford food lovers Lawrence and Harmsen Pretorius had a rear wheel puncture. They were back up and riding, but had a long chase ahead with Van Schoor and Stradum in the lead and potentially threatening their overall lead. The Ultimate Pesquare were absolutely flying on the descents, heading for a stage win. Alexander Lawrence was in turbo diesel mode as he set the pace in the chase. Solo women's leader Marnie Sumbel had Juanita McKenzie and Mandy Augustine in her train. Wesley Augustine, Kyle Bradford, Michael Mayer, and Koos Besson from Plett loving the technical drop. The M&G Boost Bar, a PE Plett tradition, comes inside the final 10 Ks. A timely iced coffee for Kwano Sipho Mthembu alongside a race founder Mike Glover. Fritz and Nokia won again at Zwartenbosch to consolidate their overall lead at the end of a hugely rewarding Stage 3. The mixed was taken by Van Schoor and Stradum, no change in the other categories. The fourth and final stage from Zwartenbosch to Zwartenbosch Golf Club was 60 kilometres with 1,100 metres of climbing. Barring a major catastrophe, Pritson and Nokia had the race all but sewn up, and the same could be said for the women's mixed and solo categories. They did have was a turbine-like tailwind for most of the stage. Honeycomb pair, who were also tackling the Cape Epic, were keen to get home as they powered away from their rivals. The fight was on behind them, Bjerkus and Becker leading Fourie and Verduring. Second place up for grabs. And the next group was led by Harpainter and Lepan, with solo leader Rogan Smart in third. Crossing the water, Fourie, Verduring, Becker and Bjerkus. The M&G King of the Mountains went to the Honeycomb pair for the fourth day as they summited the climb to the Churchill Dam together. Another illustration of their utter dominance all race. They could be a force in the race for the African jersey in a few weeks' time. Fourie was next, followed by his young partner Van During and the Valley Electoral Titan pair. No surprises at the finish. Pritson and Tristan Nokia taking another stage win to wrap up the overall by 16 minutes from Van During and Fourie, who in the end were just 8 seconds ahead of Bjerkus and Becker in third. 6.5 minutes was what separated the mixed leaders from second place Van Schoor and Stradum on the stage, and on the last day Harmsen Pretorius and Lawrence added another 2 minutes to their overall lead. The Elements team were unchallenged all week as the preeminent women's team winning all 4 stages. Plett's Rogan Smart won the solo men and Marnie Sumbel took the women's trophy back to Greenville, South Carolina at the end of a superb week's riding.
It's 12 years in the making, and this year was a vintage year as they made their way from Kurland along the Titsikama forest, in and out of those forests, and then over into the Langkloof to finish right here in breezy Zwartenbosch. But it was a fantastic ride by all of these riders. They thoroughly enjoyed it. Join us next year. It's going to be special again.